Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope this video finds you all doing amazing. I decided I'm going to go ahead and join the Froggy Friday Collaboration. And I have these two little frog molds, and I have these artificial flowers. I do have some of these pretty pink ones inside the first bag with all the different colors, but if I run out, I do have extras. So we're going to stuff the frogs. We're going to stuff them with flowers. Spring is coming to a close. Summer's fixing to start, and I'd like to get at least, one more good spring vibe video in there before summer hits and everything goes summery. But yeah, fingers crossed no bubbles, because we all know what flowers and pretty much any inclusion of a large scale can, even a medium or small scale, can go in. But the flowers really seem to love the bubbles. So fingers crossed we don't get bubbles. Just going to go ahead and dip these into the resin. First one, I'm going to dip them into the resin. Second one, I'm just going to pour the resin, push the flower in, and pray for the best. One of these is coming out with mass bubbles, right? At least one of them with like nothing but air pockets. But I'm trying both different ways to see which way is, the more feasible. And I remember Julie Cutts over there at Porta Your Heart Out. I remember she would dip her flowers or pour resin on her flowers to try to avoid the bubbles. And I've seen a few other YouTubers do it offhand. I can't think of their names over the years. And so I'm going to dip the first ones, see how that goes. The second ones, I'm just going to pour some resin and just chuck it in, see how that goes. It's more for time, is why I did the second one the way I did, because I realized the video was getting a little bit long, and I know we are timed on these videos. These are not, just make the video at your leisure. We do have a time limit for the Froggy Friday. That way there's enough time for everybody who wants to join to get in and get into a time slot, because I think they just try to keep it over the course of the day, which we all know nobody watches all these videos in the course of a day. But they do try to keep some semblance of structure and order, and I can appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just gonna stuff these flowers in here, and fingers crossed, hope for the best that, well, they do what they're supposed to do. Which isn't much. They're just supposed to be pretty. But yeah. Now, in hindsight, I wouldn't have used the little rosebud that I fixed to pop down in this little frog's rear end. For me, I think it was just too bulky, and it kind of pushed some of the other flowers up in a way I didn't want them pushed up. So yeah, that was my bad. User error. And it did, when it cured, you'll see it did have a protrusion of especially that one flower. I need to mute my mic while I yawned really quick. Goodness gracious. Make sure there's no bubbles. I mean, I'm really going to squish this head, because I don't want bubbles in that head. Because, I mean, some of these flowers are bulking up to the point where they could form an actual air pocket, not just, those little cling bubbles. They could form an actual huge air pocket, and where there would be no resin, and I'd have to figure out how to fill that. And I'm not good at figuring out those things. I'm just not. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and, like I said, this one, we're just going to pour it in and stuff it. And pray for the best. Right now, before these get done, comment below, which one do you think is going to have the air bubble problem? Because I'm telling you right now, as I was doing this, I was going, one of you guys is not going to work, because it's impossible for both to work. Let's face it. This is me. This is my channel. This is my life. This is Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Yep. I actually had a therapist tell me one time when I was much younger that Murphy's Law follows me around. I'm not so good, that's good therapy. I don't think that's something you should tell one of your patients. My goodness, I was there for help, not to be told, hey, you're just kind of screwed. But we're going to fill these the rest of the way up. Now, here's where I made my mistake. Yeah, because my brain wasn't braining fully. And, yeah. Yep. I poured the resin in the feet. I shouldn't have poured the resin in it yet, y'all. I shouldn't have topped this off at all, because the next thing I wanted to do isn't going to work. It's not. Nope. And I didn't know that. I thought, man, this is just a shortcut and it can all cure at one time. I ain't got to mess with UV resin or nothing. I am going to change my gloves because I mucked these up pretty good. You always get mucky gloves when you're handling things that are full of resin and not just pouring resin. It's the dip and move, you know? And I was going to use my tweezers to do it all, but I couldn't figure out where I'd set my tweezers, which I've got like 5 pair, but I still don't know what I did with none of them. Typical me. But yeah, I'm just going to get my gloves changed. And then we'll get back to this. And I think I have enough flowers. I love these little molds. They're so adorable. Now, I do have Julie Cut's really big frog. And he's amazing. Oh my goodness, is he amazing. I'm going to push the resin up into the little toes, make sure it's in there. Then I realize I've got too much resin in the toes for what I need to do next. Mistakes were made. Lessons were learned. Ah, yes, they were. Yes, they were. So give it a poke. Make sure the flowers are pushed down in there. No petals are sticking out. I don't know if you noticed, I didn't really squish the head of this one. Now, on these frog molds, the biggest place you get bubbles is right under the chin of the frog. This is where I realized I had too much resin, and yeah, we're going to dip some out of there. Fingers crossed there's no giant air pockets, and if it does have bubbles, it's just going to be the little air bubbles in there, which wouldn't look too bad. I mean, it'd be cute. I don't want them, but if they are in there, if they're not too horrendous, I won't be that mad, you know? I'll be okay with it, and I can make peace with it. And the frogs will live outside of the garbage can. So fingers crossed. I rehome things to the trash a lot. Yeah. Now, I was going to stick the beads into the toes, and I'm not going to lie to you right now. I'm doing this voiceover. I'm really glad this didn't work, because I was putting the wrong color bead in the toes of this frog. And these are flatback pearls. I've had these for many years from another little business that I used to run that I no longer do, making adult pacifiers for severely autistic adults as a what do you call it? Kind of a fidget, and not so much as severely autistic, but autistic adults who worked used to purchase them from me because they said it was something that they could, have to fidget with, but still have function of their hands, and they loved them. But now I just need to find something to do with all these flatback pearls, because like I said, I do have a lot of them. But they kept flipping over in the toes. So I'm going to have to use glass in the feet, which I wasn't planning on. or I would have mixed it in the resin and put it in there carefully. But since the resin's already in there, we don't have that option. And at first I started out just very carefully placing the glass in there. And that gave me a headache. Because we know I'm not that cautious, right? We just know this. I'm just not that cautious. This is how I craft. I'm just gonna dump some in and hope for the best. We're gonna sprinkle it. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. And get it pushed down in them little toes. Make sure they're covered. I don't know how this is going to look, you guys, because at this point I was frustrated the little pearls didn't work. I was so excited over those little pearls. In hindsight, I would have UV'd those little pearls into the eyes, because they would have worked really cute as eyes in this. And so it is an option I have for using this, and I have using those little flat backs, because, I mean, I have a lot of them. But I think they would really give, you know, kind of dress these up some more than those little colored eyes. I mean, they're kind of googly looking sometimes, but they're so cute in the little frogs, don't get me wrong. I do love those little eyes. But I mean, I think more for the elegant approach, the little pearls I think would make really good eyes. But I'm going to add a little more resin to the top of this glass, cover it up so it's not sharp to touch. I was really hoping for the beads, because those pink ones would have been so great in the pink one, but they're not going to do it. They just keep flipping over for some reason. And we're going to let them cure up, and I'll be back. Yeah. We're going to get this filled up. Oh, yeah. We got to sprinkle the glass in here. I almost forgot. My goodness. Just forgive my big hand being in the way. These little tiny frogs, though, oh my goodness. I've been seeing people use them, and I never realized just how small they were until I ordered them. And they come in a 2-pack for super cheap on Amazon. I think I paid like $9 for 2 of them, which is not bad at all. Temu, they're even cheaper, I'm sure, but I don't recall seeing a 2-pack on Temu. I believe they were like 1. Oh my goodness, speaking of Temu, so the tariff was paused for 90 days between the United States and China, and I thought, the prices ought to be better, you know, even locally, because, you know, I lied. My goodness, y'all. Those of you who've seen it, and I do believe there's another YouTuber who's been making them en masse lately. The little makeup brush holder that has like the 3 round compartments. Y'all know that mold. At one time on Temu it was like $8. I ran across that looking on Temu to check prices on things today. And they're selling that mold for $46. I said, what? Nobody in their right mind is paying $46 for that mold, Temu. Nobody. I mean, it comes from China, so even on Amazon, the markup is there. And even, I mean, I've noticed that the tariff being paused, which puts everything back to the prices things were before the tariff. So there's no reason for them to still be up pricing everything. Yeah, $46? What the crap? Even on Amazon, the dang thing is almost $20. And I wanted that mold so bad, and I'm just not willing to put that kind of money out on that mold. I'm sorry. some molds you look at and you go, oh my God, that's worth the price. Other molds you look at and go, oh God, that's not. You know, but we're going to demold these. So now I've got to pull these little toes out. I see the struggle. I was so scared I was going to lose a toe, you guys. Oh, goodness. And of course, I do have some overpour. That's inevitable when you get frustrated with something. It's inevitable when you don't get frustrated sometimes. But I did get frustrated with the fact that those little pearls didn't work. And I am using the Kiss Raw. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this because I really want to try that other resin that I got, because the price on that resin is mind-blowing. And if it's good resin, and I did look on YouTube to see if anybody had done any reviews, and I found an AI review, and then I found a video with it that just, it didn't give you any information as to whether or not it was a good resin, you know? I mean, I can watch you pour something, but if you're not talking about your experience with it to let me know your experience, what was it like to get the bubbles out? Did you have to degas it? Did it have to be put in a debubbler? If you're not telling me these things and you're not telling me nothing, why are you promoting the product? Your promotion failed, you know? Because the promotion is supposed to be a review. Not just, hey, look what I got, and now let me just pour this piece. You know, and, you know, so a music over video when it comes to review, that's not it. It's just not it. We need words, people. And it's not any of the YouTubers that I personally know or watch or that are popular in the circle. But, I mean, it was just two random videos, and I was like, what in the hell? These are not reviews. You know, one is just saying, hey, I'm using this product, and the other was some AI. Literally, the review was reading what the review on the internet said for the advertisement for the product. That's not a review. It's not telling me if it's good resin. That's saying, hey, the company said this, this, and this. You can read all this on Amazon, by the way. You know? Goodness gracious. But we're going to get him out, and we're not going to flip him over just yet. I am going to make sure there's no excess on there. And let me dust his little pieces that I picked off out of there, out of the way. Set him down here. And if you hear wet licking noises in the background, I apologize. My cat is literally laying right against my arm, has decided to wash himself. So that's not me licking myself, I promise. It is the cat. Why must you do that there, sir? We'll get all the excess picked off of this one. And I got a big chunk down in here. Someplace it does not go. That's beyond overpour, I think. That's like overkill with the resin there. But we're going to get it out of there and get this stuff. It's so much easier to clean up while it's still in the mold. Yeah, you can see how big that chunk is. Goodness me. Now we're going to try to get these toesies out and not lose one. I've seen so many people lose a toe, and I'm just mortified at the thought that I'm going to rip this poor little frog's toes off. I'm also scared of the bubbles, you guys. I don't want these to be filled with bubbles. I'll be so sad. But I did forget to put the resin in a debubbler. Yeah. I just barely gave the back of it a light mist with alcohol so that no bubbles rose to the top, which really wouldn't matter. That's the last place we need to worry about bubbles, is the side that's going to be flat down that nobody's going to see. Yeah. Now, the only thing that may save me is I did spray a little bit of alcohol in the mold. Not much, though, y'all. Okay. Moment of truth. Let's start with the first one we demolded. Oh my goodness, you guys. He has no bubbles. And I mean none. None, none, none. Not a single teeny tiny micro bubble. Holy crud. How did that happen? You guys know there should have been a bubble in there. Oh, I'm so happy. That means the pink one. Because we know one of them has to fail, right? And of course, some of those little stems are protruding out. It's inevitable. It's going to float to the top. But, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Wait a minute. Now, wait a dang minute. There's no bubbles at all in this one. And look, the glass moved. When the resin cured, the glass moved and got glass in the exact same spots on the little haunches of the little froggy legs. You guys, there's not a single micro bubble. Oh my goodness. I have a little bit of overpour here that I didn't get off. Oh, they're perfect. How did that happen? I'm so shocked. I'm shocked. My resin projects have been going absolute crap. I was sure these were going to be filled with bubbles. I have redeemed myself. They came out so pretty though. Oh my goodness. I am in love with the way they look. Much better than I expected with the glass. But yeah. Wow. Let me know what you guys think down below. Drop a comment, drop a like. I hope all your resin projects come out perfect. I hope each and every one of you stay blessed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.